Hello, hola, and buenas. Welcome back to La Cuna Galaxiana, a podcast made with love. On tonight's episode, we look at the LA Galaxy's 1-1 home draw against the Houston Dynamo on the last match day of the midseason before the World Cup break. We'll look at a majestic opening 30 minutes, why the team fell off, and if the result was fair overall. Andrew Alessana from Riot Squad will be here to give us his thoughts on this match and what he's thought of the Galaxy season so far. Plus, we'll bring you our MLS roundup for match day 15. All that and more coming up on La Cuna Galaxiana. DJ, spin that birthday boy track. G's up.
Yeah, let's get it started with a new year, new me. Cuna Galaxiana still reporting on the news feed, yeah. And you know who it be, the 6-star from the Jersey, putting work in the league. Word on the street, we rip teams immaculately. We see the players come and go, but I'm forever a G. And you can catch me yelling tactics on the field when I leave. Get it together like I'm Vanney when I'm giving a speech. Back to the pitch, score goals, dribbling tricks. I heard a transfer window rumor, let me see who it is. I got statistics on the player, puzzle pieces that fit. Con este show que es tan bilingüe que tu papi lo ve. Rápido pues, hablando de este club otra vez. En las buenas y en las malas, we got love for the crest, love for LA. Let's get it started, light up the stage. Every week on Monday night I'm tuning into the place. Yeah, you know what it is. It's La Cuna Galaxiana, 4th season, Rabananda. And my name, ya te lo sabes.
Hello, welcome back to La Cuna Galaxiana, a podcast always made with love. I'm one of your co-hosts for the evening and hopefully for the long haul, Rob Halone. You can find me online at El Escudero de LA, and you can find my written work at the Sporting Tribune. And my co-host, as usual, right here next to me, the Shaq to my Kobe, the man still on that high from that Arsenal Premier League trophy and still wearing the Arsenal kits. I see El Papá de Natita. Most importantly, first and foremost, y el yerno guapo, Nandakinana. Papa, what's up, man?
Yeah, I'm wearing a piece of Arsenal clothing until the Champions League final, and whatever happens on that day. So, yeah, I'm wearing it for good luck. For yeah, I mean, just honestly, like I think I've worn an Arsenal shirt maybe like every day. This week's been surreal for all Gooners and for all people associated with that club. So I mean, the social media hits keep coming and coming. I mean, the celebration, the whole thing. It's been surreal. But you know, it is what it is. We got to enjoy it. 22 years. So it is what it is. So yeah, rival fans, sorry, just wasn't your year. You gotta hold that.
I guess so, right?
I guess so. But we're here. This isn't EPL podcast. It will soon be a World Cup podcast, which we have an announcement for later. So guys, stay tuned for that. But
Truth.
we're here to talk about the Galaxy, right? These LA Galaxy, well, 5-5-5, Baba, to start the season. We will talk about that, but that's about as average as you can get. Right. I think Josh said it in the presser afterwards. He said, as 500 as you can get, like literally the definition of 500. And let me sprinkle on top of that a 0 goal difference. So again, we'll talk about this 90 minutes, of course, against Houston. We are here for the match reaction. But of course, we'll just kind of do a little bit of a retrospect. Of course, we've got a great guest. Mr. Samoabob himself will be joining us here shortly. But yeah, Papa, interesting 90 minutes. We'll talk. I don't want to spill anything now, but just really indicative of what we've seen so far this season, in my opinion.
It pretty much is. I mean, we were sitting there, and damn it all, I didn't say to myself a couple different times, saw that one coming, or when Guillaume scored that goal, and I was like, well. There's the one goal they give up, and they ended up giving up a couple of they ended up not executing on a couple of chances the other way, and excuse me, and it ended up costing them, right? So we're going to get into one of the reactions, but before we do, we are going to bring on our guest of the day. You might know him out there in the Galaxy sphere in Galaxylandia. He's an ever so friendly face around the digs. He's been a friend of the show. He's been on before, and we know him as Andrew Alessana. You might know him as Samoabob around the digs, but you know, we know him as a friend, and we welcome him back now. Thank you so much for being here with us, Andrew Alessana, aka Samoabob.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
What's up, man?
It's a cool little background there. You got there, sir.
Weird. It's kind of messing me up right now.
You look like you're in
been a
stage
cool minute,
one,
dog.
level 1 of Super Mario Brothers right now.
Yeah. I like the big background. What's going on, guys? How you doing?
Oh man, you know, it's like we're sad about the Galaxy, you know, taking time off, but we're also excited about the World Cup, and you know, we're excited to wrap it up with you, man. Like I was saying, it's been forever since we've been through, you know, so we're glad you're back with us. You know, I was finally able to pay you back that money I owed you, so you know, I was finally able to pay you. I was finally able to ask you back, and you know, come through. But how about you, man? How you been living?
I can't complain, man. Just enjoying life, enjoying time off as president. No longer president, and yeah, just trying to enjoy as much as I can the Galaxy games as much as I can.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You're like, what do I do with myself now?
Yeah.
I get to actually watch games. What is this? Well, you know how we do things on this show. We do the one word reaction thing. First and foremost, at the top of the show, of course, we're talking about that 1-1 against Houston at the digs this weekend. And since you're our guest, we'll extend you the hospitality of going first. Hit us with your one word match reaction.
Expected is what my reaction to that game, because I went into it thinking like we should win this game. Since we've been doing Squadcast, I've been looking at the odds, and it's like the first time that since we've been doing it that we were actually a favorite to win. And so, of course, because we were favored to win, I expected to not win. So I expected a draw or a loss, and that's what we got.
Yeah, that's pretty par for the course, right? I mean, Greg spoke about it in the presser. Like, we lose the teams that we should be, and we beat teams, you know, that are good teams, you know, and teams that are kind of like, you know, like trying to figure themselves out, like the Galaxy, you know. It's like that's par for the course for a draw. But man, I gotta say, like, I'm angry at you already because you took mine. Mine was going to be expected. So now I got to come up with something else. So while I do, Ananda, why don't you hit it?
Dale. Well, why do you think on that? So I'm going to say repeat. That's my one word, repeat. And for all you Copeland fans, I guess, if you know, you know, eat, sleep, repeat, right? And this is a repeat of...
What a record.
What a record. Anyways, like I said, if you know, you know. I just dated myself, but that's okay. And
hopefully y'all know.
Yeah, exactly. If not, you know, Rob will put you on, so that's for sure. But no, like, this is... We'll talk about this later. I feel like this performance was a microcosm of the whole season. We'll talk about the reasons why later. This performance is a repeat performance of what we've seen previously. We saw games where the Galaxy would be dominant in first halves, and then something would happen, and they just can't turn that dominance into 3 points. And I think we've seen that repeat performance, especially when games where the Galaxy start on the front foot and they start well, especially at home. They just can't seem to capitalize at the right moments, like kill the game off, make it 2-0 instead of getting the other team, letting the other team back. So I'm just going to leave it at that because I know we're going to talk about a lot of these themes. But yeah, for me, it's my one word's repeat.
Yeah, I was actually, you know, talking to chat and like reading chat, and then I didn't actually come up with the one word like I was supposed to. Like I told everyone I was going to just a couple of seconds ago. So now that I'm on the spot, I guess I'm gonna say frustration, because they put I've said it a bunch of times. I said it in my article. I mean, I think those first 30 minutes are potentially maybe not the entire stretch of 30 minutes, but there were moments in that 30 minutes that it was some of the prettiest soccer that the Galaxy had played all season. There was that one interchange after the 30 minutes, actually. It was like at minute 32, where Tommy picks up in the Houston half on the left side and he drives toward the middle, and then there was like 4 or 5 passes where they interchanged, and it was one touch soccer. It was pretty, and I think at the end of that comes that Marco Royce miss, which he should have buried. If my man Marco puts that away, that's a Sports Center type move. That's a beautiful team goal, and that's the distillation. That's the pure, just like essence of what Vanney is trying to see from this team, and hopefully what Galaxy fans should be treated to. But like, imagine if Marco scores that. Like, Vanney's sitting there and he's going, "Yes, that is it. That is what I've been saying," right? But
yeah, that was a good ball.
Anyway, yeah, no, it was great ball. So, but anyway, like I said, frustration that they couldn't make more of it, because they were playing great ball. They were on the front foot, and they should have made way more of it, and they didn't. And as a result, they don't walk away with 3 points, and they should have. But anyway, we'll talk about more of that as we get more into the match reaction. We want to say thank you to chat for already being beautiful and already doing your thing. If you are one of the almost 900 subscribers that are here with us on the interwebs, we do appreciate it. We do love you for it. And put someone on. You'll also know, if you hit that notification bell and that subscribe button, when we have guests like Senor Andrew here, and we have all walks of life on this podcast. We've had Will Kuntz, we've had Tommy Boger, we've had recently crowned champion as well, Sophie Nicolau. We've had fan club, supporter club presidents, and then we've also had just the folks that you find in the stands. But you'll never know who's going to drop by unless you hit that notification button. Ananda, anything to add here before we keep it moving?
Yeah, just my little show plug. So, of course, you guys can always follow me, block me, or stalk me at Cuna Galaxiana. And all of our shows or all of our socials are at Cuna Galaxiana, the name of the show. Pretty simple there, of course. And Papa, you talked about if anyone has a question to ask myself, Andrew, or Rob, it can be anything about the Galaxy or what our favorite color it is. Go ahead. The super chats are available. And that would help us as well, per the usual. And of course, Rob said it, on your way in, on your way out, please hit the like button. That would help us a lot on the show. Spread the love and have more folks find out about this wonderful chat and this wonderful community. And I don't know if you said this, Papa, but Rob, I'm going to confirm that Rob does know that we now have a blue sky. So there you go. We are now on blue sky.
Yeah, it's truth. Well. I do know about that. I have confirmed it. I spent about a year doing investigative journalism on this, and yeah, I can confirm it now. It's right up there with the exposés, like in Area 51.
There you go.
And where where Al Capone was buried and stuff like that, and also this. But anyway, we do have a super chat. Speaking of super chats, we do have a super chat. eSuper1 says, "We appreciate you guys for the Cuna and taking the time. Thank you so much,
we appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you for always hanging out and being active in chat. We do appreciate it. You make the night more lovely. Of course, every time you're here, man. Pero
papá, como siempre, antes de olvidarme, buenos días, tardes o noches, y bienvenidos a otro capítulo de la Cuna Galaxiana. I mean, this is going to be one of the last ones, at least for the mid part of the season, about the Galaxy. We've got another show coming up later this week, and then it's World Cup time, which we'll have an announcement for in a second. But of course, before we get into our shout outs, we've got to shout out, of course, what our boy Andrew has been up to with the podcast Comeback Kings. Shout out to the Squadcast, of course. You guys doing your thing out there, Andrew. Just let the people know, man. Let the people know what's going on with the show. You guys are back. You and Tucker doing your thing. Plug it, man. Floor is yours.
Yeah, so Squadcast is back. At the time right now, Ed can't commit to doing it, so it's just me and Tucker. We're doing it over Zoom, and I'm usually up pretty late doing it. But yeah, we trying to record on Thursdays to get it out on Fridays. But we've been consistent so far, so it's been good. We've had a couple weekend shows too, and yeah, just trying to get it out consistently. Do at least one a week.
Yeah, man, it's good. It's good to see you guys back doing your thing. Always some fun conversations. It's not just Galaxy. It's here. It's you guys go to a lot of different places, but it is super entertaining. And you guys, I mean, you guys make each other laugh, but I'm sure you make all of your listeners laugh as well. So it's good to have you back, man. And yeah, the more content with different viewpoints for the Galaxy community, the better. So I'm really glad that you guys are doing your thing out there.
Yeah, we are not the show for facts. Don't come to us for facts. It's pure opinion, pure opinion, and then
pure entertainment, man.
Random movie talk, probably, and yeah.
No, but you know what, man?
Good
like,
entertainment.
you guys have been doing your thing for a while. It's good to see you guys back. Like I've said before on this very podcast, like, you know, much love to the Podfather because he's been doing his thing for a long time. But like, even before I was on a podcast or anything like that, like I felt like if I ever had one, it would be spiritually more like your guys's than the Podfathers. Not just because like you said, it was like, you know, more loose and stuff like that, and you know, quería poner un poquito más sabor, you know, wanted to put a little bit more flavor, you know, and so anyway, I was always talking about that, and then, you know, said it on this show before, but yeah, man, good to see you guys back, and good to see you back here on this show. Let's go ahead and hit the rest of the announcements. We do have to say shout out and happy birthday to Big Arquitekto Verbal, aka Dual Language. I remember when I first started covering the team, one of my very first stories was about this guy, and now fortunate to call him a friend, and you know, fortunate that he has been doing the theme song for this show since the beginning, and you know, we're hoping to have him keep on doing it until, you know, he wins that Grammy, and then he's like, nah, man, I can't keep doing that. You know, so happy birthday to him. Happy 36th. Bendición, blessings, and yeah, man, you know, hopefully you had a lovely time last night. Thank you for the beautiful invitation. It's beautiful to see the homies grow up, man. Many blessings. Ananda, we're getting closer to Miss Aitana Bonmati time. Give us the latest.
Yeah, still doing that. Two sessions, man. She's coming this summer, and it's super exciting. We're gonna have the best player in the world. I mean, not Messi, not Ronaldo, even better, Aitana Bonmati. There you go. So yeah, 2 sessions, like I said, 3-day session in San Diego, June 22nd to 25th, as well as in LA on June 24th. All of the information will be if you go to the website, usaitanabonmaticamp.com or usaitanabonmaticamp on Instagram. All the information is going to be there. Registration is going to be there as well. And if you are a soccer mom or soccer dad out there listening to this podcast, and you do want your son or daughter, your future Leo Messi, your future Aitana Bonmati, if you want them to learn from the very, very best, you do have a discount code if you sign up with the code Lacuna26. That is going to be your code to get $50 off your registration. So, guys, signups are still open. You guys have a month. And, yeah, get at it, soccer moms, soccer dads.
Yeah. Ananda, I want you to know that that cookie that you saw in the picture with Arquitekto, I still have it. and it's here. And do you know, as a big kid, like how hard it was for me not to eat this cookie just so I can show it on the podcast? Like I wanted to eat this shit so bad, and like I couldn't because I wanted to show it on the podcast. Like I was like, well,
Fair play.
I was like, you see it in the picture, but you can't really see it well. So now that I showed it on the podcast, now it's going to be nom noms.
Let's get a big screen.
Pretty, yeah.
Show it one more time, Papa. Show it one more time.
Happy 36, big Arquitekto.
Cool.
Yeah, no, it was really fun. Hey, the decorations were really fun, man. It was, galaxy oriented. I mean, and then it was fun because there was a wall like what was going down in your birth year, and man, it was just wild. Like Wilson Phillips was on the box, had a number 1. Exactly right.
Deep.
Exactly. Andrew's like, oh man, that's my spirit animal song right there, man.
I know about Wilson Phillips.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's the jam right there. Anyway, let's keep it moving here. Team news. If you are so inclined, and I gotta ask you about this, Andrew, in a second here. If you are so inclined, go ahead and vote for your Galaxy player, your favorite Galaxy player, to go to the MLS All-Star game. That's going to be in Charlotte on July 29th. Or don't. I know that there's 2 schools of thought on that one. Again, I think that it's kind of a prestigious thing to have a Galaxy player go, depending on which one. Please don't send Marco Royce. Just we need the legs. Damn it, please save his legs. But yeah, like I'd be okay with sending Glesnes. But anyway, Andrew, the 2 schools of thought. People are like, oh, don't vote for Galaxy players because it's just gonna have them travel midweek, have them get unnecessary minutes on their legs, they might get injured, blah blah blah. Where do you lie on this one?
I'm more on the side of don't vote, don't go. Personally, don't vote for Galaxy players, but this year it feels like there's less to play for, so let them have their shine. I don't know that there's anybody that really truly deserves to go. Glesnes has been good, but he's also been injured for a large majority of the first half of the season.
Yeah.
Peck's been picking it up, but I also don't know that Peck's been all-star worthy so far this season. The only person that really probably deserves to go is Royce, but I don't want him to go because he's played so many minutes so far, and that's just a recipe for disaster.
We have a shout from Tom in the chat that says, nah, bros, vote for JT. JT's been pretty nice, man, recently. That's not a bad shout. I mean, Ananda a couple weeks ago, or maybe last game, Sophie made the shout that he should maybe getting a look in the UN's men's national team. Maybe too late for this cycle, but maybe for the next one, who knows? Ananda, where are you on this one? I know I've talked about it a couple times. Be our tiebreaker here. Vote or don't vote.
Oh man, I don't know. I just always like our players getting recognized. I feel like not having Galaxy players in an all-star game where it's like the collection of the best means that like we're not a great team. It's almost like one of the NBA thing. Maybe that's just an old school way of thinking about it. But look, the reality is I think Don Garber might vote Royce in for, marketing reasons and PR reasons. So I wouldn't be mad at that, to be honest. Like Andrew said, the thing is we only have 1 game a week now, minus the midweek stuff. But so maybe it's not going to affect it too much. And they're already going to come off they're on break now, Rob, until June 21st. So they've got a long few weeks, couple months almost. They'll be ready. They'll be ready for the second half. Either way.
All right. Well, you said a long break. These folk don't have a long break. VCFC, that is. Unfortunately, they just caught the L to Tacoma Defiance. They just dropped 1-0 away. This one was not their best match. They only had 1 shot on target, and they usually generate a good amount of offense. But after 13 games played, they have a 4-4-5 record. They're on 19 points with 21 goals for and 20 goals against, and a +1 goal differential. Their next match is on May 30th at 7 p.m. against Vancouver Whitecaps 2. The last match against Vancouver Whitecaps 2 was a 4-2 VCFC win in March. Go ahead and check that one out. And and that will be at the Willy Roll. And speaking of VCFC, and yes, Brandon, VCFC mentioned, and stay tuned for this one. We do have an interview with Pepe Magana dropping. I have no idea why Anana chose this picture where I look like
because we're smiling. You are not sleeping. We're all smiling.
Where I look like I'm asleep.
Come on.
But anyway, Pepe Magana interview dropping Wednesday at 9 a.m.
Exactly. That's your fangirl face. Exactly. There you go, Andrew.
Yes, that is exactly it. So yes, the interview was fun though, guys. Like, I mean, this guy's just just a kid trying to make it. He's trying to work hard. He's trying to. Yeah, I mean, we pretty much just to not spoil it for you, but we pretty much asked him what his dream was, and he told us. And so, if you want to go ahead and find out what Pepe Magana's dream was, go ahead and watch this interview. Shout out to Pepe and shout out to Galaxy Comps for making it happen.
Yeah. Really quick, while we're on the VCFC tip, Bag Chaser in chat, just to respond to you, if you want to hear, I know that Galaxy runs LA, so our friend Tab over there, he watches a lot of VCFC, so he'd be probably a good person to ask that. You can probably just DM him or shoot him a comment or whatnot. So, but I know that Dylan Vanney's been balling, which is why he got the short-term deal fairly recently. So he's been impressing, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, our frame of reference, other than watching VCFC games, just on TV or watching highlights and stuff like that, is watching him at the CVI. And to be honest, I mean, I've said it a bunch of times. He was a little on the smaller side compared to everybody else. I mean, to be expected. He is, I think he was 15 at the time, but he has a skill for sure. I saw some people that said in the Reddit, the interwebs, that it's just pure nepotism, this and that. No, the boy has skill. Like he's a good player, and he's gonna get better. So I have no problem with him getting reps with the first team, and it's not like he even saw any minutes, but it'll be good for him to train in that environment. But anyway, like we said, VCFC, Pepe Magana, who is in probably like one of the leaders of VCFC. So you'll hear a little bit about Harbor Miller, a little bit about Ruben Ramos and that special class of 07. And moving along to World Cup news, it seems like Joseph Paintsil is not in the 28-man squad for Ghana's match against Wales. Obviously, it's a blow for Joseph Paintsil not to be included in this this list. Who, it's not a definite like, oh hey, you're not going to go, but it's definitely not looking good.
Right.
I mean, you would have thought a goal this weekend would have helped his cause a little bit, but apparently not. He did say the other day, if it happens, it's up to God. If it doesn't happen, it's also up to him, and it happens for a reason. But it would have been great to see him participate. We do know that he works really, really hard, and Ananda, this has got to be one of those you're just absolutely gutted, moments, man. And kind of like moving on from Ghana to the being local here, the host country, the U.S. men's national team final 26-man roster is supposed to drop officially Tuesday, 5/26. Right now, at the time of the recording, it is Monday, 5/25. But it's pretty much leaked already. It's been the worst kept secret per the Athletic and the Guardian. The final 26-man roster will be as follows. There are 3 goalkeepers: Matt Freese, Matt Turner, and Chris Brady. Center backs, 5 of them: Chris Richards, Tim Ream, Mark McKenzie, Austin Trusty, and Miles Robinson. Fullbacks, 5 of them as well. Anthony Robinson, Jorginho Dest, Alex Freeman, Joe Scally, Max Arfson. Central midfielders, Tyler Adams, Weston McKennie, Christian Roldan, Sebastian Berhalter. Attacking midfielders / wingers, Christian Pulisic, Tim Weah, Malik Tillman, Gio Reyna, Brendan Emerson, Alejandro Zendejas. Strikers, Flo Balogun, Ricardo Pepe, Haji Wright. Some of the notable inclusions that kind of stand out here: Gio Reyna, Christian Roldan, Ale Zendejas. And then you have the big snubs: Tanner Tessman and Aiden Morris and Diego Luna. Diego Luna was a huge one because they had literally used this man in a bunch of World Cup advertising and branding. So it's like, hey, blood, like you're going to be one of the faces of the World Cup team. Psych, you're not going to be on the team. It's a tough blow for him, man. He didn't make the last one either. And of course, the last one he was younger. He probably was like, well, I'll definitely make the next one. And it must be a shock to him to not be on this one. Of course, if you are paying attention, then final rosters are due to FIFA on 6/1. So on the 1st of June, which is next Monday. Andrew, do you agree with these? I mean, are one of these snubs just absolutely heinous? Are you like, what are you thinking here? Or is this somebody that is included that you're saying like, Pochettino, what are you doing?
I think Luna is probably the biggest sub to me because he's showed up for every camp. He's been there for everything. He's also been playing out of his mind in MLS right now. I've actually watched a decent amount of RSL this year. I probably watched like 4 or 5 games outside of the game that we had with them. And he's clearly their best player. He's also a dog. You kind of need, the U.S. has always had that player who's been a dog. And I don't see anybody on this roster that kind of has that sort of mentality, that old school CONCACAF mentality. I feel for Diego Luna because, again, like you said, he's in all the advertisement. He's been there for every call-up leading up to the World Cup. I think the biggest one that probably everyone's talking about is Gio Reyna. What has his form been like and, what's been going on since the last World Cup. But that quality, you can't replace that quality. So I understand why Gio was called up. But I do feel bad for Luna. And I saw someone say that there might be a chance he gets called up because there's a couple injuries, but I don't know. I'd be pretty sad that he didn't get called up. I like Diego Luna.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like him a lot too. I mean, you're right. He's a dog, and more to the point, he plays with like a little bit of that chip on his shoulder. He has a little bit of that swagger. Everybody. This is gonna sound weird, but everybody on the team is very Christian Kappas like. Ananda, do you know where I'm going with this?
No, do tell.
Everybody on the team is just so vanilla and goody two shoes and like, where's polos and it's like oh boy, and Diego Luna's not really like that, man. Like Diego Luna like will walk into the liquor store and be like, hey, give me a 40 and a grit, and then he'd be out. Like a perfect example, like the story I've told about that the G has told me, right? Like where they ran into him in the airport and it was like, Diego, come to the Galaxy, and he was like, hey, throw me the bag. It's like just that's kind of like the swagger that the U.S. men's national team is missing, and that you're not going to have if he's not there. But I don't really see anybody on this team that's like that.
I disagree. I don't know for the national team specifically, but if you watch Chris Richards, Anthony Robinson, Tyler Adams, even Brendan for Leeds, Weston, I mean they're dogs. Like they're for sure dogs for their teams.
Sure, but they're nice lads.
But that doesn't mean you have to be nice on the pitch.
We need somebody with an edge, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Andrew knows what I'm saying, man. Like they're nice boys. They're like, they're dogs on the pitch, and then like on Sunday they're in church. And I'm not saying that Diego Luna's not in church either. I'm just saying like he's in church because he's done something and he needs to atone.
Oh, Tyler Adams was not nice to Bukayo Saka, but we'll let that slide.
Oh Lord, you again with the Arsenal stuff. Okay. Anyway, yeah. What about you, Ananda? Is there anything that you're really surprised about with this roster? I do want to say that it's crazy to me that it just leaked all like that, almost a week early. You know, there's supposed to be like a huge announcement and shit like that, and it's just like kind of watered down. Everybody's already had their reactions to everything. But anyway, go ahead. Well, what surprised you on this one, or didn't surprise you?
Yeah, I think you guys talked about it. Giorino over Diego Luna, for the most part, and Tanner Tessman. I think that was a snub as well. So yeah, I think you guys covered most of it. Probably Gozo would have been an outside shot because I know people were looking at him, but I think that was more of an outside shot. I think Diego was the one, but you know, we'll see. That's a tough one for him.
Yeah, it is a shocker. We'll also bring you news of Ecuador dropping their roster as well. As we've mentioned, this is one of the second to last Galaxy centric pod for a couple of weeks as we get into the World Cup. But and I guess that's a good time to let you guys know that you know we're gonna have a bunch of World Cup content coming towards you and trying to keep you abreast of what's going on with the World Cup. So obviously, since you know, Team Ecuador over here and on this Team Spain, we're going to focus on those as our host countries and bring you everything we can having to do with those countries and all the news and updates that you need to know regarding one of the tournament favorites in Spain and one of the tournament dark horses in Ecuador. I think we should let you know that, and we'll remind you guys, of course, because this is going to be kind of a schedule change. You guys are used to usual Monday and Thursday live streams. That's going to go to a Monday live stream, but that doesn't mean we're not going to be with you guys. We're going to have one Monday live stream a week, and then we're going to have a Minuto story of the day every day during the tournament, so go ahead and look out for that. We will bring you the most interesting story of the match day. We will be bringing you instant reactions every time Spain, Ecuador, or the USA plays, so go ahead and look out for that. So anytime that the USA, Spain, or Ecuador plays, watch out for an instant reaction just moments after the match. And honestly, there's going to be more as well, but to go ahead and find out what more is, stay tuned to the YouTube channel, the socials. Go ahead and subscribe, and you guys will be kind of on top of game when we go ahead and let you know what else is coming down the pipeline. Andrew, I know that the World Cup is not the Galaxy, and folks in chat right now are probably like, all right, give us the Galaxy stuff, right? But I do want to find out, man, do you have a tournament favorite?
Yeah, I think we just went over this in the podcast yesterday. I think Spain has to be the favorite going in this year. Their squad is just so insanely talented, top to bottom in every position. So I think it'd be hard to have Spain. Obviously, France should be there too. England's going to get a shout, but it's never coming home. So I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, personally, I think Spain's probably going to take it if they play. Well, they should beat everybody on the field.
Yeah, just a quick note on that too. They announced their roster. Was it today or yesterday? Now I can't remember my days, but Andrew's right. I mean, that whole team is stacked, and very interestingly enough, no Real Madrid players on the Spanish team. I think that's more like especially if you're a Spaniard, that's a very interesting. There's a lot of sort of political and sort of lines that touches on, issues wise. So it's just super interesting. But yeah, that's super interesting. And Andrew, on top of the talent too, this team has a lot of spirit and their chemistry is insane. They've been together now for a couple of years, that core. So yeah, Spain's going to be a really tough out, but of course you can't also deny the talent of France. I mean, they're a very strong team as well.
Yeah, no, I looked at that lineup and I just said they're ridiculous. Both teams are ridiculous, to be honest. Meanwhile, I'm sitting over here going, Ecuador has the best team that they've ever had, and it might not be enough to get out of the group. So
yeah, Ecuador, Norway are my dark horses, but there you go.
And
more to come.
Not only your dark horse, but I know that Jakob Glesnes is going to be rooting hard for Norway as well. So he was talking about that in the presser the other day. One thing is for sure, people in chat, like they said, it's puro mundial now. La Cuna Mundialista goes really effing hard. I love it. Super. I think we might have to co-opt that if that was Super that came up with that. I don't know. Well, I think it was Joe 13 Cool came up with that one. So yeah, Joe 13 Cool. We might have to buy you a burger and talk about name usage rights on for the next couple of weeks. But go ahead and hit us up on that one. Ananda, are you ready for your
breaking news?
I was about to give you the MLS roundup. But before the roundup, Cheeseman, hey bro, someone lost their job. Just want to let you know. It's sad but true. Phil Neville, former Manchester United great, and current or ex now Portland Timbers coach. They have decided to mutually part ways, which is kind of speak for Portland fired him. After the 3-1 loss to the San Jose Earthquakes, the Brass had seen enough. That loss left the team in 13th in the West with just 4 wins. And it hasn't looked great. I mean, again, it didn't look great that, the Galaxy couldn't handle business either. But they compiled a 27-31-24 record in the 2.5 years with Phil Neville as coach. He won 33 of his 95 games. And according to Mary Paulson, who is the Portland Timbers owner, he says, in my nearly 2 decades of owning and operating the Timbers, there are very few people I have enjoyed working more with than Phil Neville. He has outstanding leadership qualities and a boundless sense of positivity, even in the face of adversity. I can't think of enough for his tireless dedication to the club. Crazy or not, it represents the sixth coaching change so far in 2026, and it comes right at the break.
Yep. Well,
I want to give a quick shout out to Bob Loblaw in the chat saying the only Neville brothers that matter are from New Orleans, because that is a fact. That is a fact.
Nah, blood. Come on, Phil and Gary are used to be good lads for sure. They had to grow up with a dad whose name was Neville. All right, so I mean that's gonna make you a little off, Like they did okay. They got far in life, even though their dad was named Neville.
Yeah, and I can see Andrew's ears are bleeding at the moment because he just had to put up with Arsenal and now United talk. So there you go.
Yeah. Why? Remind me who you support.
I'm a Liverpool fan.
Oh man, get this guy off the screen. Come on.
It's been a rough year.
Yeah, definitely. We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that, Rob. Let's go to the match day. Let's go to the
well, you know how like you and City, like Arsenal and City, have been doing like the whole drinking like the Arsenal tears or drinking the City tears. Like Andrew, one of my cousins is a huge Liverpool fan, and I've been drinking the Scouse tears for years whenever United win. Unfortunately, that hasn't been a lot recently, but this year finally happened. It finally happened. It was a good year. But anyway, let's get into the MLS Roundup, Match Day 15. Ananda, are you ready?
Hit it.
Alrighty, y'all. Here's your MLS Roundup, Match Day 15. St. Louis shut out Austin at home for a 3-0 win. Charlotte also scored a shutout for a 1-0 victory over New England. Minnesota and RSL played to a 1-1 draw with Mauricio Gonzalez scoring an injury time goal to rescue a point. DC United and Montreal played an 8-goal thriller with Orens with Prince Osei Owusu scoring a hat trick to power the visitors to a draw. Evander had 2 goals and 3 assists for Cincinnati as they dismantled Orlando 6-2. Chicago beat Toronto 2-1 at home. Nashville beat NYCFC at home by the same score. Dallas beat Colorado on the road by the same score. San Jose sealed to Phil Neville's fate with the 3-1 away win over Portland. Vancouver scored a 4-2 away win over San Diego. Columbus beat Atlanta 2-0 at home with Sekou Bangura getting the winner. Inter Miami and Philly played to the highest scoring game in MLS history with the 6-4 match that included 2 hat tricks, one by Luis Suarez and one by Milan Alaski. And LAFC beat Seattle at home 1-0. And that was your MLS roundup for match day 15. And since we've spoken about the rest of the league, now it's time to dial in and talk about your beloved Galaxy, Mr. Andrew Alessana. Let's go ahead and talk about Los Angeles Galaxy versus Houston that went down at the Digs on Saturday. And let's start where we all start, with the starting lineup. Was there anything here that surprised you, Andrew?
A little bit that Winder got the start, but outside of that, it kind of feels like what our starting 11 is going to be going forward. Obviously Royce isn't in there, but Royce would be there if he's not hurt or no, sorry, Royce isn't there. He's just playing the striker. But Winder probably wouldn't be in there if we had a competent striker, had any striker on the not injured right now. But I would say Winder getting the start is the only kind of surprise. But outside of that, who else are we going to put in that position right now?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's interesting, right? Like, because if we play like what would it look like with Klaus, right? For me, it would actually kind of look like and who knows what Greg would be thinking, but for me, in the front line, Klaus would replace Royce, and then Royce would replace Tommy at the 10. And then you would have to have, because you have Royce playing the 10, you would have to have, the double pivot of either Cerrillo and Winder, Cerrillo and Sanabria, Cerrillo and someone, to try to like, because you're gonna only get like 1 or 2 defensive contributions from Royce a game, right? Like every time he makes that sprint back and makes that one defensive sprint back and he makes the stop, I'm like, there it is. That's the one from. But yeah, that's what it would look like for me. But anyway, jumping back to this game, Ananda. What do you think? Andrew says that he was kind of surprised by Winder being included. What do you think? Were you surprised by that one, or was there anything else that jumped out at you?
No, I think it was less about that. I think the big surprise for me was that Greg went with the same starting 11 as he did with Seattle. Like, I don't think he's put out two starting 11s consecutively in consecutive games. He's always been chopping and changing, and to me, that's a positive. I think that's a sign towards more stability. Of course, this is going to change when players like Joao Klaus get back in the lineup, but hopefully at that point, once we have all our players healthy, injuries aside, hopefully Greg starts playing consecutive lineups, because as we saw in 2024, Galaxy fans knew who the starting 11 were by the back of their hands, and down the last 6 to 8 to 10 game stretch down towards the end of the season into the playoffs. So that consistency, that continuity has to be there. And I think that was the bigger surprise, but for me, a pleasant surprise at that.
Yeah, I definitely like the fact that it was the same starting 11. That stability is needed. More to the point, it's not just like for the fans to know like the starting 11. It's so the players themselves know where they're going to be, like start developing those relationships and those partnerships. Like, you can't do that in a game or two. I mean, I think somebody in chat was saying, like, I really like the Hack and Glesson's partnership. I mean, I really like it too. I mean, I asked Greg about it. I asked, I think I even asked Jakub himself about it, but because of injuries and different rotations and stuff like that, like, they've only played together around 4 or 5 times this season so far, and now that they are getting some reps, you're starting to see a Galaxy team that starts to look a little bit more defensively stable, and you're going to get that a little bit more if they go ahead and keep going with the same starting 11. But yeah, that was the number one thing that jumped out at me. Andrew, we do something here now on the show called a player spotlight. Not to be confused with defending the badge. Defending the badge is, more like, who played their butt off, who defended the colors the most. But I think player spotlight is more kind of like, the best performance or something like that. We do have one. Would you like to guess who we picked, or would you like to propose somebody that you would have picked?
Well, as I'm part of the Lars Man of the Match selection committee. So we chose Marcinkowski for this game. I think he kind of played. The second half really was different from the first half and kind of boring. So it was hard to really like lock down a man of the match for someone on the field. And I think Marcinkowski's saves kept us in the game. I mean, Bond's saves kept them in the game for sure.
Yep,
did.
But I would say Marcinkowski personally would be my player spotlight. But if I had to pick an outfield player, I think Surreal had an up game compared to some games that he was, he's been up and down this season. So to see him play well is good.
Well, you were incorrect on what we chose, but that just means you didn't win the refrigerator.
You're smarter than us. It's okay.
Yeah. You didn't win the refrigerator, but you did win a lot of love from us to you. No, our player spotlight this week is actually Miki Yamane, because I don't know if this is the reason that Ananda went with them, but the reason that I went with them was that he hadn't looked great in the past couple matches that he's played. I mean, I called it out. Maybe not last show, but the show before that, Ariola skinned him a couple of different times and got him to commit into making fouls a couple of different times. I think the game before that, he commits the foul that leads to a goal, or in one of the recent matches, he commits the foul that leads to the goal, maybe against Vancouver, unnecessary foul, and it's like it leads to the set piece goal.
Yeah, Berhalter free kick. Yeah.
I can't remember if that was the instance, but I remember that like one of his unnecessary fouls directly led to a set piece goal, and so you just can't be having that from an experienced player, and so it was gratifying to see him kind of have a good performance in this one. Ananda, do you want to take it away for our player spotlight?
Yeah, well, I just think it's a guy that we haven't really talked about, and it's funny because he's, Sophie likes to use a term when she, covers players. It's, who's working in the shadows, right? Who is sort of the unsung hero? Maybe a blue
working
guy.
in the shadows.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, because
sound like a superhero.
Kind of like what like Batman or Daredevil, whatever. Take your pick, depending on what universe you like. Daredevil. Yeah, say that 18 times. Anyways, going back to the pod, because it's gonna go off the rails for another hour. So stick with us, guys. If you haven't clicked off yet, this is great. So that's a reminder for you to subscribe.
They're like, F this, I'm out.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what is this waffle? I cannot stand it. But no, Miki Yamane is a guy that he doesn't get a lot of the shine, but he's a really integral part of this team. And funny enough, guys, like he was the highest rated player on FOTMob. I'll give you the one sheet now. 8.2, highest rated player. And I thought that was interesting because when I was trying to think about who my player spotlight, I was like, whoa, this is interesting. Okay, like he did have a good game. He did get in some interesting spots, but you look at his stats there. Obviously, he had that one assist. When he gets inside the box, he tends to make good decisions. I'll get back to that one in a second. But 2 big chances created. That's something that you don't really associate with Miki Yamane. But in games where the Galaxy were successful, especially if you think about that 2024 season, if Miki Yamane has a really strong game offensively down that right-hand side, the Galaxy tend to do pretty well, right? Greg's called him the Joker a few times in that he plays multiple different positions. He occupies multiple different spaces, whether it's inside as part of the base of the midfield, going outside, making underlapping and overlapping runs, combining on the right-hand side with Peck and Marco Royce and Ricky in 2024. So he's a really interesting player. And again, he's a very much of a confidence player. So like you were saying earlier, if his confidence gets shot, he tends to react and latch on to that a bit. But when he's on form, very, very good player. And I just think he's a little bit more consistent, especially when it comes to decision making in the final third. I have a couple stills here just to show like just his intelligence. And this was on the goal. You see, Houston's crowding that middle space. So really the only ball that can get through, unless you're prime Barcelona and can play tiki-taka your way through it, which obviously we haven't seen that to great success, right? Is the space behind. And look at Miki raising his hand saying, hey, I'm going to make this run. Eddie, you better hit it to me. And boy, what a great ball, by the way. Got to give credit to Edwin Sergio for that little chip ball over the top. And again, because everyone is focused on the ball, the defensive line is, kind of just sitting there. So really the only spaces in and behind. And Miki notices that, and the play develops here. And now Miki's in the perfect zone. This is one of his touches inside the opposition box. When Miki's in this space, he usually tends to 9 times out of 10, he will make a good decision. He could have played the early ball here. You see his 2 players running there in yellow, Paintsil and Peck. But he's like, you know what? I'm going to make the defender commit to me. I'm going to take him completely out of the play. And now I've got 2 runners on the weak side. And that's how the goal happens here. And again, perfectly, luckily gets through like 8 legs, right? And it goes through. And all Joseph has to do, though, is a tap in. But that's sort of the intelligence. That's the patience. That's the sort of the veteran savvy of Miki Yamane. And I think, look, Mo Cuevas has a really good delivery from the outside, more of a whipped cross delivery. But Miki Yamane has a little more technical ability and just that decision-making in the final third. So I think those are things that Miki brings to the table. And that's why, for me, I think he's got to be the starter. I think Mo has a different role on this team, maybe off the bench, closing out games, or maybe as an emergency auxiliary right winger from that right back position. But Miki Yamane, to me, he's got to be the starter at right back, at least at this point. Where the Galaxy are in their development this season.
Maybe that'll be a topic for discussion on another podcast. But we do have a super chat in the here and the now by the homie GCam. Muchas gracias to GCam. He says, "Tuyo." Always fantastic to see y'all. Also fantastic to see you as well. So sad Spurs stayed up. I agree. I know Ananda for damn sure agrees. I was really bummed out that West Ham went down, to be honest. I mean, they put in a great performance on the last day of the season, and they went down. But anyway, GCam, thank you so much for the super chat. Guys, for those of you who did not watch this game, there wasn't a lot of action in the second half. I mean, there were a couple of stops. Mateus Nascimento had a point-blank shot saved by Jonathan Bond. But most of the action was in the first half, including a chance by Bogusz that actually beat JT Marcinkowski that Justin Hack cleared off the line. About 10 minutes later, the Galaxy finally did get their goal. Ananda showed it to you just a couple moments ago. It was during that spell of 30 minutes of wonderful soccer that we talked about at the beginning of the show. And the Galaxy go up 1-0 through Paintsil in the 30th minute. In the 41st, man, we also talked about this. The one Galaxy mistake that they give up pretty much every game was this time was giving too much space to Guillem, the Brazilian attacker. Took one touch, kind of sizes it up, and sees that he has a space, and he lets a rocket rip, and it gets past JT Marcinkowski for the 1-1 tie, and that's the way it would end. But I've talked about that 30-minute stretch a couple times already, but I'm inviting pushback because, when a couple days ago or a couple shows ago when the Galaxy beat Seattle and I said, was that the best win of the last 2 seasons? I mean, he was certainly pushed back. So was that the prettiest soccer, Andrew, was that 30 minutes? And again, I will preface in saying that not all of it was the best, prettiest soccer of the season, but I will say that there were definitely passages of play in that 30 minutes, several really, that for me were the prettiest passages of play, prettiest soccer that the Galaxy have played all season. Shoot it down or not. Let me know what you think.
Yeah, this Houston game, the first 30 minutes. Is that what you're talking
Yeah.
Yep.
about? Okay. I don't know. It's tough to say. We should have scored more. Winder had that kind of went off his thigh and then hit the post right at the front post. We could have scored more. Paintsil could have scored like a few times in that game, but yeah, I don't know if it was the prettiest soccer that we've had this season. I don't think I could definitively say that, because we did have, we moved the ball well. We played the ball forward, which is what we're not really used to this season. But outside of that, it's hard to say. I mean, yeah, the goal that we gave up was, like a beautiful shot. It's hard to really blame too many people for that. I don't blame Marcinkowski, certainly, because I mean, just the way the placement of that shot is like incredible. But yeah, goal. We should have probably stepped up on Guilherme. How do you say his name? Guilherme.
Guilherme.
Augusto.
Yeah, Augusto. I could say that. But yeah, so I don't know if it was the most beautiful soccer we played this season. Trying to look back, I think maybe there was passages in that Vancouver game at home we played a little bit better, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'd call it the prettiest soccer we've seen so far. I mean, it was a fun first half and a dud of a second half.
Yeah.
We have a couple of shouts for Charlotte. Only thing is, y'all, is that was Ananda's birthday night, and we actually weren't there that night. So we saw it on replay. So it could very well be Charlotte. But that something that we caught in person anyway, or that we saw in the moment, that was this one for me. But yeah, Charlotte was a good shout. I mean, you certainly can't disagree with 3 goals in 20 minutes, right? But a couple of other notables from this match. Marco Reus was the cappy. He's now been the captain in 9 of 15. Joseph Paintsil has 7 total contributions, goal contributions in league play, 8 in all competitions. And told you guys about the Galaxy's streak of consecutive matches by scoring a goal. Well, now they're up to 24. And with the result, the Galaxy handed Houston their first tie of the season. Ananda, go ahead and give us your one key stat. Ooh, this is going to hurt.
Yeah. Well, the one key stat there's a couple, but let me just run down the box score really quick, because just from a stats perspective, I think the Galaxy probably should have. You look at this, Greg probably looks at this and says, you know what, we probably should have got 3 points, and I think he said that as well in the presser post match. But 53% to 47 for Houston, 19 shots versus Houston's 10. 6 of the Galaxy's on target. 5s were on target for Houston. Total passes, the Galaxy dominated there, 631 to 494 at a 92% clip. But I'm going to go all the way down. The expected goals for this game, LA Galaxy 2.5 versus Houston 7. So you look at that and say, should have been a 2-1, 3-1 win. But here's my one key stat that affects that. So the Galaxy had 6 big chances in this game, but unfortunately they missed 5 out of those big chances. And that was basically it, right? And look, you can look at this in 2 ways. The good news is, look, the Galaxy 6 big chances ties a season high. The other match was, funnily enough, it was at Atlanta, but there the Galaxy only missed 4 big chances, and guess what? The scoreline was 2-1. So sometimes it's the gamified margins too, right? You convert one of those, that Winder shot goes in, it doesn't go off the post, it goes in the back of the net. JP maybe makes a little better decision 1v1 against the keeper. I mean, Marco Reus puts that in with his there's so many chances if you look back at it that, yeah, the Galaxy probably left 2 points on the table, but that's this game. Sometimes it is about the fine margins, because you get the rub of the green sometimes, like you did in Atlanta, right? And you hold out for that 2-1. We've talked about this theme, like getting into the talking points, and we'll talk about this with Andrew as well. But you look at this performance and you look at just the performances even up to this point in the season in the first 15 games. And we put this in the title card, but it's kind of a conversation thing, but it almost seems like the Galaxy are just stuck in neutral, right? Sometimes they get into like they have a nice win, but then it's followed up by an awful loss, or they have a ridiculous loss against the worst team maybe historically in the league, but then they follow that up with somehow a miracle away win at Seattle, a place that they haven't won in 10 years. And even if you look at this 90 minutes, a dominant performance in the first half, but they couldn't turn it into a win. You think about the Vancouver match where they probably should have had all 3 points. You think about the NYCFC match all the way back in the first game of the season. You're up 1-0, and then a red card happens that completely changes the game. So, and this is the other stat too, guys. The Galaxy have not had consecutive wins all season in all comps. So if you want to be a team that's not bang average and not just a 9th place team, you've got to string some wins together. And so I guess I'll throw this one to chat, but I'll throw this one to you, Andrew. You look at everything and do you just say, look, are the Galaxy, are they just a mid team at this point? Like, and if they are, is that progress versus last year, or is that the wrong way to think about this?
I definitely think it's progress from last year. I did a little prep yesterday going to the show because I want to talk about, the halfway point of the season and looking at the season thus far. And before I looked at the results and actually did a look at our schedule and look at the results, I thought it was much more up and down than it really was. But really, the most comprehensive, what we've gotten from what we shouldn't have, doesn't really paper over the losses that we've taken. We beat Colorado by a lot. That was nice at Colorado. Winning in Seattle for the first time in 10 years, papers over quite a bit. But I don't think that and getting a tie with Vancouver as well when Vancouver was way hot going into that game as well. But I don't think those results paper over the bad results. Nothing will really, unless we go on a 5-6 game win streak, that's not going to paper over losing to KC twice this year and being their only wins. So yeah, it's stuck in neutral, but I do think if we're basing it off of last year, we're going forward, but it's still not good enough. It's just not good enough for what we are.
Yeah, and basing it off of last year is a bad bar, for damn sure. And then you know what, more to the point, we've been, if we're talking about last year and on to it seems like something that we were talking about last year, we're still talking about this year, right? This team is still searching for its identity. There was a young up and coming reporter at the press conference who actually asked a question to Coach Greg Vanney, and I think you have that question teed up. Go ahead and run that clip.
Wheelhouse, if we are around 50 to 55% possession, I don't think we want to be at 60 plus. I think we want to be, have our fair share. And if that means 45 on a day, that's okay too. And if you look at our results in the last little bit, we've actually had close to 40% possession in some of the games that we've won. And so I think you got to be able to do both. I think you've got to be able to use the ball well, because some teams in our league will choose to sit on you and they'll force you to have the ball, and you've got to have ideas and not just set yourself up for transitions the other way. Which I think tonight was a good example in the first half of us being good against a team that was relatively low. But you also have to be good in the transitions, because especially if you can get on top of games and if you can defend well with this pace that we have with Joe and Gabe, Marco, and
That's the Greg remix right there. Let's go ahead and cut that one there, because it doesn't seem like Greg is coming back. But the point Greg was going to make was that everything starts from the Galaxy finding themselves defensively, and if they can be a good defensive team, everything stems from that. That's what Greg told us at the beginning of the season. He would like the identity of this team to be as a defensive team, and so he reiterates there that if they can be a good defensive team, that they'll be a good team. Ananda, do you agree? Is that the actually, I'm gonna send it to Andrew. Andrew, do you agree with this? Does it start with being a good defensive team?
When he comes about and the quality.
Oh.
Guys,
bear with us for technical difficulties. Sorry about that, guys.
Get some opportunities for sure in the transition. If you look back in 2025, I think, or 20.
Alrighty, I think we might be okay now. Ananda, are you with us? Andrew, I think Ananda was just like, I'm over these guys. I'm out.
See what happens as soon as I get on the pod. It goes long.
Yeah, it's. I'm gonna blame myself. I think he just got kind of over me, and look, he's kind of just like frozen there in the middle.
That's a perfect face to freeze on.
Exactly. So anyway, he'll be back here in a moment, because what I think happened is this computer froze. Last couple times he's tried to run a clip here for you Cunettles. His shit's just kind of frozen up and been like, no, I'm not gonna do that. So anyway, what do you think about Greg's kind of theory that it all starts here with the Galaxy being a defensive team?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of true. It's somewhat of a platitude. It's true of every team. I don't think that we are set defensively. I don't think we've really figured it out quite yet. Hopefully with the back line maybe getting the same players and same reps out and being set and having the same players play week in, week out could definitely help. But yeah, I mean, that's true of every team. You want to start from the back. I also think that our midfield play is kind of indicative of our record and how we've been all year. It's been very hit or miss, mostly miss. Truly, honestly, it's what I feel like most of a miss. So, I think that's more concerning to me than the back line. Although we do give up goals in bad times, bad spots in the game. We went up 1-0. We probably should have been up 2-0 by the time Houston scored.
Exactly.
And then giving up the goal right before half. It seems that we give up goals when you least want to give them up. Obviously, you never want to give up goals, but when we give up goals, it's in
41st
really
minute is a terrible time to give up a goal.
Yeah. So I do. Yeah, I gotta agree with Vanney. But it's not a super deep statement that you want to be set in the back. Obviously, you want to start in the back. You don't want to give up goals. But I do think that we've made most progress this year from last year in our defense, even though we do still give up a decent amount of goals.
Yeah, no, they don't have it all the way figured out, but I think that with the Lesnes and Hack partnership, they're starting to figure it out. Oh, Ananda, thank you for joining us again. We were actually just wrapping up. We finished talking about everything. So only thing one left to say. No, I'm just playing.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm never gonna do those press conferences. It literally crashes my computer every single time, so I got to figure that out.
That's what I was just saying. I was like, yeah, that's a couple times that he's tried to run one of those. Like it's crashed his computer. So, but anyway, no, we were talking about Andrew was just sharing with us, what he thought about Greg's statement that they're a defensive team, or like it all starts with them being a defensive team. I mean, as much as they're starting to figure it out, or at least their identity, I think it just starts more than anything with just starting with the basics, doing the simple things well, and getting results one by one. And they're starting to put those results together. I mean, I had a disagreement with Greg the other day about this, about whether the Galaxy are inconsistent or not. And so the data is thus. We've said it already: a 5-5-5 record, a 0 goal differential. Somebody in chat said 15th out of 30 teams directly mid-table, 0 goal differential, but there is only one loss in the last 6 games. 3-3-2 since Champions Cup elimination. So the question is, Andrew, are the Galaxy actually trending up? And then, sidebar to that, what do they need to do to go from mid to go to the next level?
Win the games that we should be winning. Win the games where we're favored to win. Beating Houston, we probably should have done. We shouldn't have lost to Kansas City twice. If we beat Houston, I think we're in like 6th or 5th or something like that. In going into the World Cup break, that would make us everyone would feel a lot more comfortable had we won this last game. But drawing just kind of feels like stuck in neutral. We're kind of stuck in the mud. We're doing kind of the same things over and over. So, since the Champions Cup, we have been trending up. We've gotten results, from games that you would probably expect us to lose. But I would say we're trending up, but I still think it's not enough.
You called out, if they had won that game, right? If they had won the Kansas City, the 2 Kansas City matches, and gotten the 2 points here against Houston, they'd be on 28 points, which is a comfortable 3rd. I mean,
Wild.
That's
above LAFC.
That's ridiculous. I mean, like, if they had just taken care of business, chat, let us know what y'all think. Is the Galaxy actually trending up? Or obviously there's a long way to go, but I think the specific question is, are they trending up? Andrew, other than they winning games that they need to win, is there something else that they could be doing? And, like, especially since the break is coming, do they need to sell and buy players? Does Vanney just need to accept that they're more of a transition team than a possession team? What do they need to improve on or make a priority?
Getting healthy, honestly, is probably going to be the best thing. Losing Klaus was huge, because now we're, especially if we lose Nascimento, we don't have a striker. And I think Klaus can't play for another 3 games or 2 games after the World Cup break. Right. Like I said, don't come to me for facts, but he's put on the injury list, so he's out for at least a little bit longer than the World Cup break. So yeah, getting healthy is going to be the most important. I don't know roster wise what we can do. I know with Nascimento we should get another U22 spot, but I don't know who we could possibly get to replace. I don't know what papers over. What spots most in need. Obviously striker, because we don't have one, but I think there's a lot of spots that we kind of need a little bit of help. And personally, I mean, midfield is probably the most eyesore for me that sticks out.
I have bad news for you, Andrew. In the press conference, Greg told us that if anybody comes in, it certainly, and he didn't say this exactly, but you got to read between the lines and coach speak. It's kind of like when you're in the corporate world and they tell you something and you're like, oh, okay, like, let's read between the lines here. Yeah, and coach speak, he pretty much said, like, if anybody comes in, that then probably somebody has to go out, because they just don't have the resources, they just don't have the money for it. So that is what it is. I mean, decisions are going to be made this this World Cup break. I said it a bunch of times, like the team that left is probably not the team that's going to come back. There might be some new faces. Greg was also asked about Mateus Nascimento. Shout out Peyton. Peyton, let me get that re-up. But anyway, he said that he pretty much, again, in coach speak, he translated, boiled down to the essence. He said, nah, I'm not impressed. He didn't do enough. And Nanda, does that pretty much cover it?
Yeah, he said he was basically, he used the word inconsistent. And so the question was basically of his progression, and he said, yeah, he was inconsistent because he just didn't play enough, and he just had inconsistent performances. So, and speaking of inconsistency, that's the other thing that's got to be more consistent is our home record. I think that's one thing that has to improve the second half of the season. Galaxy have only won 2 out of 7 home games. So, the question is, I guess this is more of a rhetorical or for the chat to kind of noodle amongst yourselves, but it's like, how does Greg, how does the team, how do we make the Digs a fortress again, both on the field and then also like the fans? Like, I just feel like that connection in 24 was so nice. Like, that was such a nice season, all things considered. So it's like, how do we recreate that atmosphere again? But it's got to start on the pitch first. So like Greg's got to think about like, how do they get more home wins? Because that's a huge part of this. Because if they get more home wins, Rob, and they stay 500, which they've been on the road, that's a pretty good. That's usually typically in an MLS season, that is a good recipe for success.
We do have a couple of super chats, and we want to say muchas gracias. GCam responding to our question about is the Galaxy trending the right way, trending up. GCam says millimetrically trending up. Yeah. Some millimetric progress is still some progress. Some progress is better than no progress. Adam with another super chat. Muchas gracias, Adam. He says more points lost at home once again this past weekend. Yeah, Ananda was just talking about it. It is a real problem. It needs to change. I mean, who would have thunk that we'd be talking about a Galaxy team that has more wins on the road than?
Yeah, and Mr. Provino keeps it pretty simple. What's up, Provino? How to make it a fortress?
What it is.
Winning cures everything. So very simple.
Good to see you all up in this chat, Mr. Provino. All right, guys, let's go to the nitty-gritty here. Defending the badge winner. We have a couple of candidates, Andrew. JP, Miki Yamane, who broke down on the player spotlight. Glesnes, who had a pretty good defensive performance, and a guy that you called out, Edwin Cerrillo. JT is not there, and mind you, you can pick anybody you want. So if it is JT for defending the badge, that could be your shout. Who is it going to be for you?
Personally, I'd go with Cerrillo. I think he had some grit. He showed some progress and offensive progress, which we haven't seen a lot of his forward passing or he had that shot outside the box that Bond saved. We haven't seen that a lot this season, and I think we kind of need that. And with our midfield being inconsistent, we've needed him to step up, and he hasn't. He hasn't stepped up that much this season. So I'm personally going to go Cerrillo.
I like it. And you're going to need Cerrillo to maintain and improve performances even for the Galaxy to have success. I mean, he was a part of the reason that they actually picked up their crown in 2024 because he was just so darn good, so consistent, good for a 7 or an 8 every single match day. And talked about as perhaps one of the best young DMs in the league. Not so in 2025 and this year, not so either. But this performance is a good step in the right direction to try to get that form back. Anandita, what about for you? Defending the badge winner.
Yeah, I mean, I could have gone with our player spotlight because I did like his performance, but I'm going to go a little different. Maybe a guy that we haven't talked about enough maybe today is Jakub Glesnes. That's my defending the badge. I don't know what it is, guys, but every time he's on this team, there is a There is a calmness, there is a composure that's immediately reflected into the back line defensively, that without him, I just don't see the same. And even in this 90 minutes, I don't think the goal was his fault necessarily. I don't think it was the back line's fault. I think it was just a little bit the distances.
Miki doesn't step.
Yeah, the distances were too wide, whether it was the midfielder that needed to drop in, Edwin Cerrillo or Miki Yamane, whoever that was covering. You need to get a little bit closer, especially to Guilherme. That guy's gonna, he had a lot of the. I think you, Rob, you were next to me at the box. And you're like, why doesn't someone just get the ball away from him? Like, what is going on? Like, we're giving him too much respect and too much.
Bruh, like I was just losing my shit over there, Andrew. Like they were like he would stand on the ball and just stand there, and then like Galaxy players would look at him for like 4 or 5 seconds, and just like no one would do anything, and I would be like,
yeah, like you guys are about to. Sounds like you guys are they about to have a dance off or what's going on here? Like
I was having a conniption, man. I was like, what is going on here? Like, and then at one point I was like, okay, this is exactly like what Marco was talking about how sometimes they need to play dirty. Like, yo, a good tactical foul on Blood for just like hanging out and chilling on the ball like that. I mean, good tactical foul, you'll see how quickly that ends, man. But yeah, anyway.
Well, and then so going back to Glesnes, like it's again that calming presence. I mean, he had the most defensive contributions on the team, 10 in double digits. So that's blocks, clearances, interceptions. I think he had that one really, really nice block. Bogusz was clean through on goal, and he thought he would get a shot on goal, but Glesnes, jumped, just sacrificed his whole body and got in front of that. It's plays like that. Like he just diffuses so many situations. Just such a good defender, Rolls Royce of a defender, in my opinion. And yeah, he gets my defending the badge. And then on top of that, I've only heard him in the press conference talk, I think once prior to this. Maybe I wasn't there for the other one, but he's just such a composed guy, man. Like a true veteran,
jovial.
Like yes, jovial, but also like he is that, but I feel like he also has a stern attitude on the pitch, and he's also like a competitive player, and I respect that a lot. Like very different than kind of different than Maya in the way they approach things, but the same level of professionalism. And damn, he's good. So, Glesnes.
He is good. Well, Cuneros, let's see where that match leaves the Galaxy after 15 matches at the midpoint. We've been saying it, a 5-5-5 record. They are in 9th place on 20 points, 1.36 points, 1.36 points per game, and a 0 goal differential. We've been talking about, is the Galaxy mid? What do they need to do to kind of take the next step in the second half? A lot of themes for the second half, of course, but since Galaxy time and Galaxy soccer is coming to an end for at least to June 21st. It is now a time that we can kind of like sit back and reflect. And so, Andrew, we're going to leave you with our last question before we say bye. And it is quite simply, for the midpoint of the season, what grade would you give the Galaxy and why?
Considering what we've discussed all night, it's hard not to pick C, but I'm going to go C- because I think we are better than what we've shown. So it's not been a complete average grade. So I give it just below an average grade. C- is what I would give.
Yep, agreed.
Ananda, you're not supposed to reveal yours yet.
I mean, yeah. Well, I still have the right to change my mind, but we've got a few panelists that you'll talk about coming through. So I mean, who cares what I'm just furniture on this show. It's all about our guests in the chat.
All right. Well, we do want to say thank you to our guest, Andrew Alessana, who's I think probably capturing the spirit of a lot of Galaxy fans when he says a C-, which is average, but just a little less than average, because there have been moments of definite embarrassment. SKC. Oh man, let's not even go there. Yeah. But anyway, Andrew, we want to say thank you so much, man, for dropping by again and hanging out with us. Don't make it so long. next time. We hope to see you again soon. You're always invited to the Carne Asada.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank
man.
you very much, guys. I appreciate it. Always. Anytime you guys need me, just let me know.
All right, man. Sounds good.
Post.
Have a great night.
We definitely will, man. Be safe out there.
Thank you.
Peace.
Bye-bye. Thanks.
You heard him, homie Samoabob, Andrew Alessana. Like we said, he friend of the show. Been too long since he had been on, and we're glad he had come back to hang out with us. Guys, we've talked about it a couple times. This was the second to last show in Galaxy coverage, because on Thursday, May 28th, it'll be the last one. We're going to bring you our mid-season progress report, as we're joined for that progress report by Peyton Bodouin, Dylan Altman, Matthew Pinchbeck, and maybe a few more special guests thrown in there as well. El Primo Matthew, shout out to him. Man, it'll be great to hook up with these guys and just kind of talk about some of the arching Galaxy themes of the first half of the season. And guys, I know you guys come here for a lot of Galaxy news and facts and stuff like that. But on Thursday, it's just going to be a lot of vibes. We're gonna have just a roundtable discussion with these guys, and we're gonna just tell you what we think. Just keep it unfiltered. Pull up with your beverage of choice. It'll be kind of like our version of Lacuna After Dark. Just a bunch of good times. Yeah, there'll be a couple of facts, but mostly it'll be just good vibes and talking about the Galaxy and this Galaxy team over the first 15 games of the season. And then, of course, on Monday, June 1st, we're making that switch, baby. Joe 13 Cool said, Lacuna Mundialista, bang. Well, there it is. Starting Monday, June 1st, it is Lacuna Mundialista as we switch it over to that World Cup content with our very first World Cup show. And of course, you know how we do. It's going to be a World Cup preview bracket style. So keep it locked with us, guys. Ananda, anything to add before we get on out of here?
No, just as always, chat. You guys are awesome. Thank you for just joining us on this journey. Thank you for joining us as always to react to the Galaxy. Hopefully you guys stick with us throughout the World Cup. It should be a really, really fun tournament, guys. Like, it's in our backyard and we've got to savor these moments, right? We've got to enjoy this. I know Rob's going to be at a few games. Hopefully a few of you guys are able to go to the games as well, despite the high ticket prices. I think Elijah Winder reminded us of that too. Remember Bubba in the press conference. So we get it, but we're going to enjoy this tournament. But of course, as Rob said, just one more show about the Galaxy, just taking a little retrospect before we switch gears. And yeah, I just want to say we love you all. Thank you so much again for your support. If you have not yet, go ahead and hit the likes, hit the subscribe. We are on our way to 900. Hopefully you guys will help us get us there. And yeah,
put someone on, please.
Yes, sir.
All right, y'all. Well, it's been a gas. It's been real. Thank you again to Andrew. Shout out to all the Cunetos out there. Shout out to all the Galaxy fans out there. And, again, starting on the 1st, we're going global. I really do like that Lacuna Mundialista. So anyway, guys, we'll see you soon. We'll check you on Thursday. And I think there's only one thing left to say, right, Ananda?
Dale.
Jesus!
Chat. See ya.